I swear if Nicola Sturgeon had a driving license, she'd have done an O.J. Simpson when the cops came calling for her today. As it was, she'd only passed her theory test, not yet the practical, and therefore had to tamely submit to arrest by arrangement. You know, the kind of thing cops routinely do. Anyway, she's been released without charge, pending further investigation, just like her husband, Peter Murrell, and just like the SNP's treasurer, whose name now escapes me. Because like the deadly upas tree, nothing grew underneath the Murrell-Sturgeon duopoly. They were the Nikolai and Elena Ceausescu of Scottish politics. Now both of them are under further investigation. A report will be sent to the Procurator Fiscal, and the laws in Scotland, though I'm not there, will be made on this show this evening. In other words, proceedings are live, and therefore comment is extremely limited. But I can assure you nothing I have said in the last minute or two transgresses those laws in the slightest. We know that Boris Johnson has badly let the side down. We know that he has fallen far below the standards expected in public life. We know that because the BBC showcased Alastair Campbell, Tony Blair's former spin doctor, to tell us. A Prime Minister elected by 14 million people, thanks in part to the assistance of all of the liberals and progressives who did so much to destroy the possibility of Jeremy Corbyn being the Prime Minister, only to spend the next years telling us that the Boris Johnson that they facilitated into power was the worst thing since Mephistopheles himself. I'm in the glad position of despising all of them. But I'll tell you what, 14 million people voted for Boris Johnson and 0 people voted for his nemesis Rishi Sunak, and an alliance of the Sunakists, if such a thing can possibly exist, and Harriet Harman, no less, and the Blairites of the British Labour Party has done for Boris Johnson, but for how long? I predict he'll be back. I predict he'll topple Rishi Sunak. And not as Sir Rees-Mogg just said, after the next general election. I predict before it, in mid-Bedfordshire, the seat vacated on the same day as Boris Johnson resigned by his chum Nadine Dorries. What could be a more comfortable constituency for Boris Johnson than the middle of the bed, with a couple on either side of him, if you get my drift. And we'll be talking to the legend that is Seymour Hersh, and the legend rapidly developing legendary status Adil Raja. A Soldier Speaks, coming up very shortly. Stay tuned. It's the mother of all talk shows.